Hey everybody, and welcome back to 999, my playthrough, my voice acting playthrough, so I can get practice voice acting, yay! Last time, Junpei broke out of his room, and he ran into some people who apparently were in the same predicament. I guess they also had rooms that they were in that they had to find a way out. And there are 8 others, so 9 people total. That's the 9 persons. That's exciting. Okay. So then he ran upstairs to check one of the other landings, I guess, and he ran into this girl. And they're just like, what? And she apparently recognizes him from the looks of things. So, we will pick up there. Her words echoed through Junpei's head, and suddenly his memory returned. Akane? She's so cute. Why hadn't he realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki. She and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years. But what was she doing on the ship? What was she doing? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face heating up. Oh, he's so precious. At that moment, a speaker crackled to life, and a cold, eerie voice filled the room. Welcome aboard. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart to this, my vessel. With the voice's invasion, the spell between Junpei and Akane was broken, and all hints of burgeoning romance instantly forgotten. They hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At last they found it. A speaker said on the ceiling. I am Zero, the captain of this ship. I am also the person who invited you here. The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static. But Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten? It was the same voice he had heard from the man in the gas mask. Hey, asshole! What the hell is this? Come on out here! I want to get a look at you! What do you mean? What do you mean to do to us? I mean to have you participate in a game. Some of you I know are familiar with this game. The Nonary Game. Some are familiar. Have they been here before? Okay. It is a game where you will put your life on the line. Nonary Game? What the hell's that? Clearly it was not boasted. The voice continued, implacable. The rules of the Nonary Game can be found upon your persons. They are simple rules. Read them. Nonary Game? Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out. Silver reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Wow, that is a lot of rules. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt the telltale crumble of paper, slightly damp from his earlier ordeal. Hey, I got one too! Then it would seem Zero has seen fit to grace us each with a letter. Would you mind terribly reading it to us, young man? Why would he do that? His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he's been asked. I can read. On the ship, you will find a handful of doors emblazoned with numbers. We will call them the numbered doors. So much. The doors in front of you are a pair of the same. The key to opening these numbered doors are the numbered bracelets that each of you possess. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number on that door, the door will open. Only those who have opened the door may pass through. Oh. There are, however, limits. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. All those who enter must leave. All who enter must contribute. Oh, okay. Bracelet, Junpei figured, had to mean the bulky thing on his wrist. He glanced around. It looked like everyone else had one as well, and had come to much the same conclusion. The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Ah, I've heard that before. Seek a door that carries a 9. Junpei had reached the end of the letter. There was a long moment of silence, and then the speaker crackled to life once more. There is one last thing I must tell you. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink. Thanks. On April 14th, 1912, the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed into an iceberg. After remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it sank beneath the waters of the North Atlantic. I will give you more time. 9 hours. Everything's coming together. Now we just need 9 doors. That is the time you'll be given to make your escape. They said that at the beginning. The voice finished, and the speaker went silent. Oh, sound of a bell tolling echoed through the hall. It came from the dance hall adjacent to the stairwell. It took those assembled on the stairs mere moments to trace the sound to an antique clock embedded on the wall. 7, 8, 9. Oh. The sound of the 9th bell faded away. The 10th never came. That meant the time was 9 o'clock. Most likely 9 o'clock in the evening. When Junpei had peered out the window of his cell, he'd seen nothing but blackness. It had to be nighttime. If that was the case, then they would need to escape by 6 a.m. the following day. Now it is the time. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck. The speaker went silent and did not speak again. Silver yelled at the speaker with language coarse enough to embarrass the sailor, but the rest of Junpei's companions were silent, deep in thought. Junpei, too, was consumed by his thoughts. There was a great deal he didn't understand. Who was Zero? What was the Nonary Game? Why had he chosen to make them part of it? Was he a criminal who took delight in playing with his victims? Or did he have some other purpose? And why had Junpei been chosen as part of this insane game? Why had any of them been chosen? But one question was foremost on his mind. Aww, Akane. That's so cute. They hadn't seen one another since elementary school. Why had she appeared now? Coincidence? No, that seemed impossible. There had to be a reason. He didn't know what it might be, but there had to be a reason. Very well. The lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence. Standing around here won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think? Get moving? I know Junpei is a boy, but I really can't do... Obviously, there's a lot of males in here, so I can't really distinguish my voice that much. And since Junpei talks so much, it's just going to be my normal voice, so just clarifying. Are you planning to open the numbered doors? Hey, wait. Don't tell me you're actually going to do what this Zero says. That's really cool how they move. Like, I mean, I know DS isn't that old of a system, but I don't know, I feel like you don't see that much. No, that's not what I mean. The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed. I'm saying let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet. What? Their separate investigation finished, all 9 people returned to where they'd left one another. The result of all their work was... nothing. They were completely sealed in. Their hard work had not gone completely to waste, however. They had learned a number of things as they had scoured the parts of the ship they could reach. It seemed that they were confined to decks A through C. C deck was as far down as they would be able to go, however. The reason being... that D deck was completely submerged. Strangely, however, the water had risen to no higher than D deck. The flow seemed to have been stopped somehow, as evidenced by the surface of the water on D deck, which was as smooth as glass. The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it. Perhaps this Zero fellow has some sort of remote control to seal a watertight door lower down. He said that our time limit was 9 hours. In other words, this water won't rise for 9 hours.
Did you say we won't sink till then?
Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point in wishful thinking. There were 3 metal doors on C deck. A single door stood off to the side, with 2 more on the wall facing the central staircase. None of them had numbers or verification devices. They were, however, locked like the other doors. No matter how much they pushed and shoved, the doors refused to move. The mountain and the lion threw themselves against them a few times, but to no avail. The door in the back had a keyhole. That keyhole. Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot. Okay. There were 2 other doors on C deck as well, but it was clear they were elevators, as each had a button next to it with an upside-down triangle. They tried pushing the button. No response. Apparently there was no power running to the elevators. To the left of the elevator doors was a card reader. I know that symbol. That's Saturn, I think. I think that's Saturn. Neptune? I don't remember. It's one of those planetary symbols. The card reader also had a strange mark on it. It looked like a lowercase h with a dash drawn across the upper stem of the H. Junpei stared at it for a while. I don't remember. I want to say Saturn. Yes, I was right. This is the symbol for Saturn. It's an astrological symbol. Then the mark on the other door. I think that was the sun symbol. Yes, sun is pretty blank. They had seen the same symbols on A deck. There was a door on either side of the stairs. The one on the left had a keyhole with a similar symbol engraved on it. This is an Earth symbol. The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical one represents the prime meridian. Junpei looked up at the ceiling. There was a great circle cut in, perhaps for a skylight or a glass dome, but it had been filled with a gargantuan metal plate. The metal looked very solid. Anything short of an explosive charge was unlikely to damage it. There were several windows along both sides of the ship. At least there had been. They too were covered with metal plates. In other words, they were trapped. We're trapped. All the exits go nowhere. Junpei was not happy. The girl with pink hair spoke up. Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them. She needs to sound more like a kid. Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them. Then the mountain spoke.
You don't know that. For all we know, they just open into walls or take us in circles.
The prince did not agree. No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what point would there be? And we can open them. Well, 2 of them at least. You mean the numbered doors? All eyes turned toward the doors with the numbers on them. The atmosphere in the room grew tense. Hey, wait a minute. I think I said this earlier, but I don't think we should do that. The dancer moved in front of the doors, as if to block them. We'd have to be crazy to open these doors. If we do that, we're doing exactly what Zero wants us to do. Suddenly, everyone began to speak at once. Blah, 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 blah. John, it's a terrible idea. We should keep going. We should stay here.
We don't have any other way to open any of the doors.
We should just wait and someone's got to come find us.
We don't have time for that.
In 8.5 hours, this ship is going to sink. The clamor of voices made it next to impossible to determine who was saying what. Their arguments grew more and more intense until people were shouting and screaming at one another. Junpei had remained silent, but at last he could take no more. Hey! Shut up! They fell silent, and all eyes turned to Junpei. He felt each stare burning into him, but he refused to flinch. Before we try and decide where we're going to go, there's something else we ought to do. What's that? We need to exchange information. We don't know anything about each other. I want to know who you guys are. Who you are, where you came from, why you ended up here. Don't tell me you aren't curious too. They were silent. Some of them looked the other way, or bit their lip, or crossed their arms and stared at the ceiling. But one of them spoke up. And And that's all the time we have for today, so we will find out who spoke up next time. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!